Okay, this presentation continues on internal factors within an organisation. It's a brief presentation talking about the culture of an organisation, understanding what culture is, and how it is important in the management of an organisation. Okay, um, so so when we're talking about culture in the grand scheme of things, culture as a word refers to the history and traditions of a group of people. Now, what's important to understand from an organisational point of view is, as an organisation, it is a group of people. It's a group of people joined together by a common share of values, the common need for work, um, and within this group of people, obviously, they have their own history and traditions. So really, when we're talking about culture, we think of very much of an international or national point of view of a country's culture. Really, culture reflects any group of people, and organisations are no different. So these history and traditions and the way in which an organisation has done things um, relates to how the organisation operates, and in that as well, the culture and how they relate to their stakeholders, both within the organisation, so your employees and your managers, um, and outside of the organisation, customers, your local community, your suppliers, etc., etc. So this understanding of what culture is very important to understand and interpret the way in which organisations behave. So culture really is a key way of identifying the steps that an organisation might take, or just very simply the behaviour in which an organisation operates. So, what further muddies the water is the fact that businesses are made up of big groups of people who have their own cultural background, their own history and traditions, and because of this, sometimes it can create a very diverse um, place to workplace. So the fact that the organisation has its own culture is a way in which it blends people together. It gives people that opportunity to find common ground to operate in a very team working environment. So if, for example, you have an individual from one part of the world against an individual which from another part of the world, particularly in these parts of the world whereby they may not traditionally see eye to eye, the whole idea of having an organisational culture brings that together, okay, and allows them to share that common ground. So really the role of organisational culture and developing organisational culture comes from management. Leadership set the idea and the path, as we've seen before, but the managers are there to be able to manage, motivate, assist in massaging that culture, tweaking that culture to make sure that everyone is operating effectively and on the same path to the same goal. Sorry, that should say that organisations very much develop their own culture, which is reflective of their values and of their goals as well. Okay, so largely the sort of things that is reflective of aims and missions, the philosophy of the leadership, and from an NCA point of view, the concepts of rangi-tiri-tanga and tikanga, the ways in which these policies are put forward to develop and enhance the organisational culture. Now, from a theoretical point of view, they do tend to suggest that there are certain ways in which cultures may develop. So, a zoo culture, family, club culture, an Apollo may be highly structured, autocratic, bureaucratic, may fit alongside a tall organisation hierarchy with short spans of control but long chains of command. Athenian, creative, problem solving, maybe a laissez faire style of leadership, maybe more effectively. Likewise, also with Dionysus, workers left independently to work, with that whole idea that everyone knows what their the ultimate goal is.